Toni Collette and Colin Firth are here to talk about The Staircase on HBO Max.
I think there are not many families like us.
To the Petersons.
First of all, congratulations. I've seen 4 of the episodes, and I can't wait to watch the next, however many more there are.
4 more, you're halfway. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I love a good family drama, and I love true crime, but I feel like the family drama is just as equal as the true crime here. Can you talk about what that added for you as the actors? Toni, I'll start with you. The fact that we get really into this family as well as just the case.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we've talked this morning about how we're not really massive fans of the true crime genre, essentially, like we're just not. So I think the fact that it's very much about a family and what they go through and this tragic accident, potentially accident, I don't know what happened, but this horrible loss it just gives it so much more grounding and heart. I mean, these bonds are real. And Kathleen, bringing some life to Kathleen, what I've learned is that, I mean, she was all about family. She was so connected and they were everything to her. So, yeah, I think that's just, gives it it's the heart of the show, really. And the loss is even bigger, knowing that there was so much love there. Yeah.
Colin, can you talk to that?
Yeah, well, I've very much experienced it as a family drama, predominantly. There's obviously this utterly tragic and brutal death. And there's obviously it loosely it falls under the banner, I suppose, of the true crime genre. But I didn't really feel that's what I was in. I think that the mystery for me, and I think it's full of mystery, and I think it's full of twists and turns and unpredictability, wasn't dependent on the whodunit. It wasn't dependent on the case. It wasn't dependent on speculation of evidence of what may or may not have happened. It was about the mystery of human beings in the community of a family and what we can understand, what we can really know about each other. And it pokes at our certainties. It makes it harder to cling to certainties, I hope.
Yeah.
Because I think, as soon as you feel certain about something, you're pretty vulnerable to have that challenged. And I think this is playing with that all the time.
Yeah. One of the things I liked is that this family is not a perfect family anyway. They all have issues and there's things going on, and this just kind of escalates everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a question in there, but we get to see different versions of what may have happened that night, which I thought was fascinating. I wasn't expecting that when all of a sudden I saw like the second version of that play out. Can you talk about playing those different scenes? Because in some ways, you're changing your perspective as well as to what's happening, whether Kathleen was alone when this happened or whether Michael was there. Colin, I'll start with you. How was it to shoot those different variations of that event?
Well, I was only involved in one of them, obviously. It was difficult. Having to be in a part of a project, which was, as I was saying earlier, keeping questions alive, maintaining the level of uncertainty. It's pretty defined if you're going to walk through and depict a scene like that. It's not something you do lightly, and it's not something you shake off easily. And what's interesting for me, I mean, I think it really knocked me back how Toni depicted it. It shook me. The actual physical violence was enacted by stunt people, but I was still witnessing the portrayal of suffering, and it's still in my head. And but interestingly enough, you've got 3 depictions, but I might have to do a scene the next day where Michael's talking in terms of being an innocent man, and I can't forget what I just enacted.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to have 3 depictions, it means those 3 depictions are at play throughout everything else you do.
Yeah.
You're playing a scene sitting in a diner with your lawyer, and there's a version of this story where an owl did it, or there's a version of this story where, I don't know if this is spoilers at this point, but people are commenting on it. Or there's a version where she fell down the stairs, and there's a version where she's, my character murders her.
Yeah.
Which one am I in? Although I wasn't there for the 3 depictions, they informed everything else.
Yeah. How about you, Toni, considering you had to do this multiple times?
It's a horrible thing to do, and a strange thing to have to do 3 times. But I think, potentially the purpose of the retelling of this story is to create a bit of balance between, in terms of the representation of both parties who are potentially involved in what is potentially a murder. It's more about the breakdown of a marriage, and you very much get to know Kathleen just as much as Michael, really. And so all of these potential ways that she did die are really, I just think it's so fantastic that you see all 3 of them. It was such a clever idea.
Click the subscribe button under this video and watch The Staircase starting May 5th on HBO Max.